Hey, it's Christopher, aka the Bronze Age Nerd, and welcome to another video where I take a look back at the top 5 comic books not to buy that I recommended 3 months ago and see how those books are performing today. If you're not familiar with my other show, I basically take a look at all the key collector, trending 20, the CBSI Hot 10, all those lists, and I see what books look like they're on those lists that don't really look like they belong to me, like they might not be a good investment. And then I take 5 of those books, I highlight them, and I explain why I don't like them as a good speculation book. So now I'm taking that look back 3 months later to see if those actually were good investments or how those books are performed. And I'm also going to take another look in another 3 months and see how they did at 6 months. All right, so now that you know what's going on, let's dive into the 5 books that I looked at 3 months ago. So the first book I looked at 3 months ago was a Suicide Squad AMC exclusive for the theatrical release of the Suicide Squad sequel. Now, I can't find this book in Cover Price, which is one of the guides that I use to look at books for 3 months later prices, based on a poll that I took, and you guys agreed that was one of the best online price guides. So since I can't find that, I'm going to use eBay sold listings, which I will look at throughout this video anyway as kind of a baseline. Now, when I started doing these videos, I wasn't really planning on doing this follow-up series, so I don't have historical price data. Cover Price helps with that, at least. So not being able to find it in Cover Price does kind of stink. We do have sales going back to October 24th, 2021, where it sold for $11. So that's the oldest eBay sale. Let's see, November 10th. Yeah, that's the oldest eBay sale that I'm seeing based on this. Some could be listed incorrectly or not pulled up in my search at least. So let's kind of look at some sales now. The video I did was from August, so it's from August 13th. So really, we're supposed to be looking through November 13th. So we're going to run out of sales data pretty quickly here. But since this one's a little weird and I can't find it, it's a promo comic. Makes it a little bit harder to find. We do see a sale a couple days before Halloween for $3.99, where it was a buy it now. So we're ranging from $11 to $3.99. Another sale on November 22nd, which is just outside our range for $2.55. Since we can see it on the screen, let's take a look at the more recent sales, even though they're not part of this sample. And you can see one sold for $13.99 and one sold for 99 cents. So I don't remember exactly what people are paying for this book back in August, but I don't think that they're making millions on this book. Based on what I'm seeing here, this book isn't performing very well. Now, if you got it for free for going to see the movie, you probably could have made, $13.99 on it. Best case scenario. That doesn't even cover the cost of a movie ticket, but hey, there you go. So I'd say that this one probably was safe not to buy. All right, next up on the list is a bit of a bigger book. This is at least an older comic book, which is nice to see on the list. This is Tales of Suspense 77. It's the first appearance of Peggy Carter, who later becomes Captain Carter, of course, in the What If show, and the comics too, in Exiles. Which is a comic that's interesting to look at and probably the one I'd rather own. But let's take a look at Tales of Suspense. Now, this is an established book. It's also the first full appearance of Ultimo, which is nice. So it's a key for several reasons. Currently, it's trending down, but we aren't really looking at the current prices for this book. Now, raw values on a book of this vintage are going to be very, very inconsistent, especially when looking in aggregate. But just to kind of give us a quick snapshot of what we were looking at, back around the time frame I filmed this video, selling in all kinds of different conditions, mind you, looks like between $40 and let's look a few days after, $40 to $60, $60, $125 for a supposed 7.5. We don't get a whole lot of information from this, but I did want to look at the data real fast. Tabbing over to graded, we're going to get a lot more information. Now there hasn't been a 9.8 sale since 2013 that Cover Price is tracking, which is not surprising. However, if we do look at anything in 2021, back in April, we had a 9.2 sale, and in July, we had an 8.0 sale. Here we go. We have a $220 sale in August for a 7.5, and a $135 sale in August for a 7.0, and a $170.99 sale for a 5.5 in August as well. So we have some data from August, no follow-up data on Cover Price. Let's go check out eBay real fast. Now, the farthest that eBay is going to let me go back for sales on this book are October 16th. from October 16th. And here we're seeing sales that are kind of in line with those raw numbers from cover price, but you can't really trust those too much. We see a best offer accepted for 6.5. I'm not aware of any tricks to see best offer accepted anymore. There used to be a couple loopholes to see that. We do have a 6.0 sale for 155 from my comic shop, which is a really good seller, or at least a high volume seller for that matter. I think it's a good seller. And so $155. So that doesn't seem like that's excessively trending up. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call this one, with the raw sales kind of taken out of the equation on this book, just because we'd have to look at each one of these books, grade it, and compare it to prices from 3 months ago to really get a good number. And that's going to be difficult to do unless I had that historical eBay data. So without seeing that and only looking at the graded price, first of all, this book isn't moving in high volume, that's for sure. We're not seeing a lot of graded sales on it. It would be nice to know what this one sold at, the 6.5 on October 17th. But with that one sale, that 155 from a 6.0, I'm going to go ahead and say that this one was not a good comic book to buy 3 months ago. All right, I hit these first team up books pretty hard for the third book here. This was Marvel Team Up number 5. And this was essentially just a cover of Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel. And people were saying that that was a good book to invest in for that reason. Let's see if that's true. We do see the current trend is ever so slightly up, less than a percentage point. Raw sales back in August, this book was selling for approximately $5 to $6. And then in November, it was selling for approximately $4 to $5. So that's pretty flat on the raw sales data. Graded, we don't have any sales data on cover price that would cover the time frame that we're looking for, the last sales from 2019. I bet that some people sent this book off for grading because it got hot, and we'll see those books back months from now. So that'll be interesting to follow up on this one 3 months later. Let's take a quick look at eBay. eBay does give us a few more raw sales, $8 back before Halloween there, but $4 on the same day, $10 on November 3rd, and $4.40 on November 20th. That one's in VF condition. You can trust my comic shop on grading. They're pretty good on grading. So near mint plus $10. I'd have to look at the pictures to even see if that's even close to true. eBay sellers can say whatever they want, but let's assume it is. So between $4 and $10. So really, this one hasn't taken off very much in the time frame that we'd be looking at. See, I'm not seeing any evidence here that this was a good book to buy 3 months ago, at least not to invest heavily in. In fact, you probably got some deals between then and now that were a little bit better. All right, let's take a look at our next to last book. This is a book that I took some criticism for because people said that this would be a very good one to invest in. This is the 1 in 50 sway for Miles Morales Marvel's Tales number 1. Current trend down a percentage point, but again, that's a little bit more current than we're looking at here. I don't think we're going to see any CGC sales data, certainly not on the cover price side. So let's take a look at raws real fast. In August, this thing was selling, before I filmed that video, it was selling for about $100 to $150. Actually, a few days after that video, one sold for $74.99. And then when we fast forward to September, they were selling for $56 to $75. Again, raw sales data, those could have been in terrible condition. We really don't know. Let's head over to eBay. All right, and eBay lets us go back to a little bit before Halloween again. So we see it selling, that was a $50 sale from Canada, $41, best offer, $23 from the UK. So obviously they paid a lot in shipping if they had it sent to the United States. Best offer, but the best offer was probably less than $29.99 for this book that sold in January. Now that's way ahead for where we're supposed to be looking, but again, I'm going to say this one, went from selling from triple ratio to selling half to full ratio. Full ratio would be $50, in case you're wondering what I mean by that. And I'm going to go ahead and say you shouldn't have bought this comic 3 months ago. In fact, you're probably getting a better deal on it now. All right, another big book that was hot because of Suicide Squad. Let's take a look at our last book, and it's Superman 4, the first appearance of Bloodsport, played by Idris Elba in the movie. A lot of people are really excited about this. Currently, this book is down 3%. Okay, this book had a ton of sales data back in August. So again, we're looking at raw values and cover price. I always want to mention that that is not necessarily the best indicator because quality can be hard to tell. I don't even know where they're getting these 9.6, 9.4s from. I don't know if that was just because it was in the listing. I don't know if they're trusting like my comic shop, for example. But I just will point out that we had raw sales ranging anywhere between let's get to the 13th here. I don't have any on $28, $45, $60, $35, $36 on the high end, $60. Somebody really wanted a copy of Superman 4. $40, $40 on the 18th. So it definitely started to peak up about a week later after it hit on that top list. Well, let's go ahead to November and see what this book's doing. And in November, we see some interesting sales here. These are raw sales, an 8.0 for $40. That sticks out to me. A 3.5 for $14 and an 8.0 for $85. Now that's pretty interesting stuff. But I do think a graded comic book value here is going to make a lot more sense to look at. And when we're looking at graded comic book values for an ultra modern, this is pretty modern. I'm going to say that you'd probably want to look at a 9.8. And this is interesting because we lose sales data after August. But 9.8s you could see from about 240, there's a 375. Somebody was pumped right before the movie came out. 215, 280, another 375. So around 300, it'd have to take an actual average to see what that's sitting at, but around 300. We're going to have to go to eBay and see what happened over there for this one. Okay, we can go all the way back to the 15th of October, and we do have a sale for a PGX 7.0 at $29. I'm not really going to make that one we're going to focus on too much. I'm kind of trying to narrow in on the graded 9.0 for $72. Seeing raw sales 15, 18, 32 from the UK, 25. Again, we'd have to look at each one of these to really kind of dive into the grade. Another 9.0 accepted best offer, so probably similar to that other one. And here we go, 9.8. We have a 9.8 sold for $200 on October 29th. And here we have a 9.6 CGC white pages sold for less than $90. And on November 2nd, a 9.2 for $97.50. And on November 5th, a 9.6 for $95. CBCS 9.6 for $61.65 on the 12th. Okay, so we get a little bit more information. We do have a 9.8 on November 19th for $105.50 as well. So I think we're getting a little more information here. And this one probably wasn't a great investment. It didn't plummet, but we're looking at these graded prices, and you're talking about a key, somebody who is going to come back. It makes sense that they wouldn't bottom out completely. But then again, buying a 9.8 key for $100 last, a month and a half ago, not too bad. So if you still believe in this character, I'd say this is a good time to buy. And that means it probably wasn't a great time to buy 3 months ago when everybody was in a feeding frenzy over Suicide Squad. That was almost a King Shark joke. I tried. All right, so there we have it. We looked back at 5 books that I recommended not to buy 3 months ago. And I think actually pretty much all of these, I would say that you were probably better off not buying these. I think I did pretty well 3 months ago. I am curious to see how a couple of them hold up at that 6 month later mark, especially as slabs start to roll in for a couple of those newer books. Potentially we can see how we're doing on those. But overall, I think I did pretty good here. If you're interested in following up on these videos and talking to me about them, a great place to do it is in the comments down below. Another place to do it is at my Discord, and you can head to my Discord, and there's a link in the description, and you can come join and start talking to us about comic books and things you've picked up. We're a great community out there. We try to help people out, and you can also share your opinions on the videos that I make as well. If you'd like to support the show, one way to do that is to donate to my Ko-fi, kind of like a Patreon or something like that. Basically, the idea is you buy somebody a cup of coffee. If you want to do that, I use that to kind of upgrade some of my equipment and pay for my subscription fees to places like Cover Price. So that's a great way to support the channel. Really, the best way you can support the channel if you're interested in doing that is just keep watching the videos, sharing them with your friends if you think they're interesting. I really do appreciate that. I do hope to catch you in my next top 5 not to buy, and my next follow-up 3 months later for comic books I recommended not to buy 3 months ago. Until the next one, I want to remind you, as always, hey, read comics every day.